Hi everyone, a very good evening to all of you. This is Monisha and it's my pleasure to be your moderator for today's webinar. I welcome you all. Am I audible properly? Can anybody reply to me? Yeah, thank you. So I welcome you all to the Startup CA Conclave Series Session 4. So this is a collaborative effort between the Shine Foundation and the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Mangalore. So in this today's session, we will explore IP related topics. We will understand basics of trademarks and copyrights, a critical topic for any emerging business or a startup. So protecting your ideas and laying a strong foundation for your brand is essential for long-term success. By the end of this session, you will have a solid grasp of intellectual property fundamentals that can help safeguard your business or startup. So now let's welcome our esteemed speaker for today, CS Vignesh Bhatt. I welcome you, sir. Mr. Vignesh is a company secretary and a partner at DCL India. He brings a wealth of experience in corporate legal compliance, governance, and intellectual property (IP) protection. With a proven track record of guiding startups through the complexities of trademarks and copyrights, he excels in helping businesses secure and defend their intellectual assets. Vignesh's expertise in intellectual property law, company law, and corporate governance makes him a valuable asset in ensuring startups protect their innovations effectively. A warm welcome to you, sir, once again. And building a strong startup requires a solid foundation. So, safeguarding your brand through trademarks and copyrights play a vital role in laying that foundation. You today for the today's webinar, your presence and participation are what makes these sessions truly meaningful. So this Startup CA series is a collaborative initiative led by all the CAs and the Shine Foundation from Mangalore. We are excited to bring you 12 insightful webinars in this is our fourth session and culminating in a final conclave event. So this is the fourth and over the next 8 sessions, I'll held monthly. We will explore various topics critical to startup success, including legal structures, fundraising, and financial management, etc. So throughout the webinar, I encourage everybody to participate in the webinar and feel free to ask questions in the chat box, and you can unmute yourself and ask during the session. And without a further ado, let's start. Let's get started, sir. The floor is yours.
Thank you, madam, for the brief introduction. Good evening to one and all. Today, for me, the topic given is about understanding the basic of trademarks and copyrights, which is a part of intellectual property. So I will try to cover as detail as possible to make sure that you are educated with what all are the things one should be aware or should take a steps to protect his brand name or an intellectual thing what he created, or also he should be aware that or he should not get exposed to any risk from other party where they have already a trademark or any intellectual property is created where the person uses with or without intention by mistake. So let me, I will try to cover morely or highly towards a trademark and what all are the things you can get is trademark and what is the difference between primarily trademark and copyright and the process involved, approximate cost involved in getting all these things done, and what all are the startup can get a benefit from a government or by having a trademark. And also I will try to explain a couple of practical case laws which gives certain idea that how this industry is working around trademark and copyright. The reason why I want to highlight is many people or you will find very less expert in this field who is practicing in this area as well as having a knowledge about how the practically these things can be create an issue for someone or can help somebody to grow their business. So let us get into understanding the trademark or copyright part. So before that, it's an intellectual property series, right? So these laws primarily is to protect intellectual things of intellectual things created by a human through his entity. So as the word says intellectual, so it's something related to talent or a creativity. So primarily in India, for any intellectual matter, you find the three major laws. One is called patent, which is primarily for kind of any invention which a person or a company does. Second one is about a copyright. As the word or by practice, you might have been seen in many places. Copyright is all about any kind of artistic work or a literacy work or any cinematographic thing created by a person. And third one is the trademark. That is all about a name or a image or a logo and various other things which can be trademark. It is most towards protecting the goods or services. Apart from that, there are a small geographical indication, other related registration which we won't touch, but primarily we will focus on trademark and a copyright. So just to give you a history, I was curious before starting, reading for this session. I also wanted to know, from when the trademark concept has evolved. So I was doing a search. I understand that, trademark concept per se was there from, more than, 6,000 years ago. Originally, it started in Egypt, where for, construction purpose, they were carrying a lot of, metals or wood items or stones. On a stone, they used to write a name of the owner or a product. So that's how that culture of branding or naming the product or a name started evolving. Likewise, it's historically evolved, and today we have a proper trademark acts in India, uh, and that's how the law evolved and the process gets started. So first, to understand about the trademark, so what is a trademark? So trademark is represented by graphically and capable of distinguishing the goods or services of one person from one to other. Say in a simple word, the trademark itself, give you an identity in the market for your product or a range of service what you provide. Say for example, if you say CA as a brand or a trademark name, when you hear that, you understand that this is a brand name associated with certain audit or a taxation or a accounting related profession. So that's how whenever you come across any brand name or a logo or any impression or a label, all that gives you an identity that it's a trademark. So whenever you register any company or do any business, you will give a particular name to it. That name itself is your trademark. That itself your brand name. The legal definition is very vast. It says it includes shape, goods, packaging, combination of colors, and many things. But in simple terms, to understand trademark, you can say that your name, logo, or a label that can be considered as a trademark. Then what can be registered as trademark, right? So can you register everything? Suppose my name is Vignesh. As I said, name can be trademark. Can you take a name as a general name as a trademark? The answer is no. There are various things or a legal regulation behind that. So first is your brand name. So for example, the name of the product or goods which you sell, that also you can take it registered. For example, your company name may be ABC Private Limited or a ABC LLP, but your brand name may be something else, XYZ, something like that. Say for example, Reliance Fashion has AGO as their brand name. So that particular thing can be trademark. Likewise, logos and symbols. I have given an example that HP logo. So your logo can also be trademark. Then there are numerous numbers which is unique for your business that can also be trademark. Product shape can also be trademark, like a Coca-Cola bottle. It product shape sometime even taken a copyright also and trademark also. So it can be taken both copyright as well as the trademark. Copyright for the design what you create, trademark is for the shape. So that's how the trademark can also be taken. Then next comes is the slogan. That is nothing but your tagline. Many company or a brand will have a particular tagline to get associated with a particular brand. So that can also be trademark. Likewise, the dimension mark. Then there is one more non-conventional mark, what we call it as sound. If you remember earlier, Nokia mobile, when you switch off and switch on, you used to get a particular tune. That iconic tune is also trademark, so that someone else cannot copy that. Then the smells, color combination or a color can also be trademark. So in nutshell, in short, all these things can be trademark. The only condition is that it should be unique. Someone else should not be using that. Unique in the sense like a general word name, or there are a certain restricted names under Prevention of Name Embellishments Act. Under that, the name should not be prohibited in nature. So all those things, other than those things, can be trademarked. Then comes is like a benefit of trademark. Obvious question, right? So various things you can trademark it, but what I get in back? Will I get any money from my investor because I have a trademark? Or will I get any loan from a bank because I have a trademark? Or the Startup India body gives me any incentive or a grant or an investment for having a trademark? So these are the general question I come across whenever I say, you should get a trademark done. But for this, the answer is absolutely no. Uh, just by having a trademark, you may not get anything. But there are a various way in which you can present it, earn an investment, or earn a business at the next level. So what benefit per se I get by having a trademark is that I get an exclusive right. Exclusive right in the sense, the name which you use, it will be allowed for you to use within India or a particular state for which you need exclusive right, that will be provided to you. Just to give you an example, say for example, Dunzo. Today, Dunzo is for delivering the goods or a parcel services. But because of their brand name, today nobody will say, if I want to send one document from one place to another place, I won't call it as, I want to parcel it. By default, people say, I want to Dunzo it or a Swiggy it. So that it's a benefit, it's an exclusivity, right? Now the parcel is replaced by Dunzo. That's the beauty of that brand. Of course, it has some now value addition to that startup, various other benefit they get in the market. But the trademarking of that word itself gives an exclusive right to them, say that Dunzo is mine. So it easily gets identified with their brand. So that's how the exclusive rights what you get when you have a trademark, which gets the benefit. And another example I want to quote is of a Xerox. Xerox is an American company existing from 1906. Because of their not having a trademark or exclusivity, if you see today, in every corner you will find a shop called a Xerox shop, which actually is supposed to be a photo copy or some other word you're supposed to call it. So that way, Xerox has lost its exclusivity and also their brand name per se in India. Even though they have applied for trademark in India today, but they don't have an exclusive right because it's already in public domain everywhere. So that's where the trademark comes as an handy. Then next is the brand recognition as goodwill. As I explained in my example, the moment you have a brand name which is trademarked or being registered, it gives you a lot of value and a goodwill in the market that gets associated with a particular name, which again gives a lot of business to the particular organization. Then protection against infringement. You know very well, when you run a business, when your concept is good, there will be 10 people who will be copying your business and doing it. When somebody can copy your business, there is always a risk that someone else can copy your name also, or name, product name or a logo or a design. All those things people will copy. So it becomes very hard for you to run a business, especially depends upon a type of business which you are in. Especially if you are in a e-commerce or a retail trading or a B2C model business, having a trademark for the name is very, very essential because people tend to copy the name. We call it as a theft. People always do a theft. So to protect yourself, you should have a trademark so that you can stop others from copying your name or a brand or a logo. Of course, I will explain certain case laws and my practical experiences, which all are, affecting my client business. The turnover is getting hit because of somebody copying the name. Then next is national and international recognition. As you know, now Indian business are going global. Also because of globalization, a lot of business are, they will have presence in India, foreign countries, vice versa. So Now, by sitting here in India, you can register a trademark in Europe zone or a US or a Singapore or any other Asian countries. So again, when people are into export or import of business or any global business, again the having a trademark becomes very essential. If you take any multinational companies, they always take a global registration. They may have a trademark registration in 100 countries, 70 countries, like that. The company called IKEA, you may be very aware, they have around 1200 registration of trademark in 70 to 80 different countries. So it shows that when you are in a serious business, it becomes essential that you have a multiple trademark in multiple places based on the business requirement. Then again, does the registration of a trademark is mandatory to do a business? Of course, audience will be aware by now that it is not mandatory under a law, but to run a business, it may become a mandatory for you to take a registration. So answer is optional, but for a better protection, one should have a trademark registration done. Then trademark usage concept, like a backdating registration. So many time startup, especially ask me a question that, I registered a company in the year, say 2014, or I'm doing a business from 2014, and I'm applying for a trademark in the year 2024. Can I take a protection for my trademark from 2014 or a 2024 only? I'm eligible because I'm filing an application today. For this, I always say the answer that, of course, you can get a trademark done with effect from 2014 itself, because trademark, while file an application, we give the effective date. When the effective date is 2014 and you give the supporting document, government gives you the approval from 2014. The reason why is somebody else maybe copied your business since 2015. So to get a upper hand or a better fight with them, or to get a legal benefit, you get a 2014 approval so that you can fight with the other guys. Also, one more point is the trademark, you should not delay in applying. Meaning, if somebody is copying your trademark and if they have applied for a trademark, if you file a delay application in a legal battle, it may happen that you have not taken a cognizance that someone else is doing a business already, and you are not objected to that particular application. Through that, you may lose certain trademark eligibility criteria. So that's why when you are doing a business, it's always better you apply and get it registered as early as possible. You are able to hear me, right? There are no connectivity issues.
No, sir, it's clear.
Thank you. Then next is all about is a trademark is an asset and a valuation process. So again, for the lot of startup, right? So will the trademark is treated like an asset, and will it help them to value their business well? So the answer is yes, trademark is an asset. Like whatever expense you incur to get your trademark registered, like a government fees or a cost associated with that, is that will be booked in your balance sheet as an asset. And from a valuation perspective, yes, you can get a valuation for your trademark from the valuation experts. By giving the turnover and the because of trademark, how the market looks at you, how much turnover you can generate. Considering all that parameter, the trademark can be valued. You can present it before the investor while valuing company with a this intellectual property as one of the line item to present before them. For that, of course, you have to go with the valuer for a valuation, take a help of them, give an input. It needs a lot of study. And there are cases, I will explain in other cases, valuation being done in India, and against valuation also, nationalized banks have given a loan to the such a companies. So trademark valuation funding is possible, but practically how it is to be executed, one has to see based on the nature of business and all. Then accounting treatment. So as I said, in the books, it will be, of course, treated as an asset to the extent of cost incurred. On that asset, you can get a depreciation. All those things will be your P&L item as a depreciation. It's like an expense to you in your book. treatment in financial statement. So again, since it's an asset, in balance sheet, it will come as an intangible asset, and in P&L, it will be coming as an depreciation expenses. Then I wanted to explain one important case study about this valuation and how the funding being done. So in India, we have only one case where State Bank of India had given a loan to Kingfisher against their brand or a trademark, that is Kingfisher itself. So it was valuation was done by Grant Thornton. It's called GT, one of the largest firm. They have done a valuation of the trademark and they valued the brand as around 4,600 crore. And against the brand, 4,000 crore was given as a loan to Kingfisher. So this is the only case where you see that trademark being, brand value or intellectual property where the loan is given. After that, it was in our news, debatable fact whether intellectual property against which can a bank give a loan, because typically bank mentality is that they need a collateral where they can actually go and recover the money like a immobile property or a shares. But intellectual property or a trademark is such that today your brand value may be 4,600 crore, but if something goes wrong, brand value may become zero. Very debatable, but State Bank of India had given a loan with support of other banks, and as you know, rest is history. A lot of things are in news. So the process, as I said, Grant thought on various valuation method adopting that the loan was given. Still, I'm unable to understand how bank can give a loan against the intellectual property. I understand against patent makes sense, or against copyright makes sense because there are some artistic work is involved. But trademark is just a design or just a thinking. Very strange. So next, legal implication around infringement of trademark. So now I have explained like what is trademark, what are the things can be trademarked, and what are the benefit we get. So now legal implication, what benefit I get. Suppose I took a trademark and someone else also copying my trademark or a artistic work or a design, whatever I have developed, and what are a way in which I can protect myself. So the option available is if someone is copying your name, brand name, whatever you call it as, or your website ID or a domain name, which is trademark, then you have an option to serve a legal notice at a first place. If he's not willing to change the name or shut down his business, then you have a legal remedy of filing a criminal suit against him, where authorities can give a direction to raid his business, seize his business, carry out a search, and also levy a damages on him, penalty on him, and also whatever turnover he made using your brand name. On that, you can claim a compensation. And also there are imprisonment sections which all can be imposed on him so that your business name can be protected. So civil remedy, again, you can get a stay from his business, then a legal damages and a criminal remedies. So I'm facing one of the case where my client into the business of selling a ready-made or a mixed food products or ready-to-eat sort of a product. As you know, it all gets sold highly on Amazon or the online portals. Somebody had copied my name exactly in the same way, just that they have added one or two words in between and some slogan. And he's getting ranked in Amazon and Flipkart and all those online portal on a first place or a first page. And I'm not getting, listed on such a platform, even though I have a trademark, everything. So now it made me it takes time, 1 or 2 years of legal battle, fighting a case. Hopefully that, court will order, in favor of me, wherein, they will say that, to stop the business by the other party and also delist from the online portal. So the only reason why I'm able to get this protection or eligible to file the case is that I have a trademark registered, not just applied. So that's why I have that benefit of fighting a case. If I had not registered my trademark, today I had lost that opportunity. Now I can apply for a trademark, get approval, takes another 1 year time or 2 year time, then again fight with that guy. So I will lose 3-4 years of time in just fighting with the other party just to protect 99 and to come on a first page on the online portal so that I can make a good amount of turnover. So this is what the implication which we can see practically when we miss out to do trademark registrations. So these are the remedies what you get, protection what you get under a law. And also I see in practically in many cases, when you serve a notice or file a case, other party will come for a compromise with you. They don't want to fight. So with that, you can settle the case easily because you have a trademark. That's why opponent will always, will have a one step back, will not fight with you. Then similar mark. So this is a concept I wanted to explain particularly because you will see a lot of names, used in different way. uh, can that be possible? Because if you travel from Bangalore to Chennai, you may find like 1,000 Sarvana Bhavans on the way. And if you read all their spelling, if you carefully observe, everybody writes Sarvana Bhavan in a different way. Somebody writes SWA, somebody writes SVA, somebody writes BHAVAN, BHAWAN, whatever combination you can think of, all that way people write. And Sarvana Bhavan find you find everywhere. And you get confused, you are entering to real Sarvana Bhavan or some other hotel, that way it confuses you. So here the point is similar marks. Yes, any change in spelling or the name which gives the similar pronunciation, all are called as a similar marks. So just buying a spelling changing or changing a logo color or a tagline, it will not make you that a different name. So it has to be very unique, uh, both by spelling wise or a pronunciation wise, color combination wise, and all. Then only it is called as a different mark. If not, if you use a similar mark, with using some different logo and all, by default government is going to reject your application. Even if you somehow convince the government office, for sure you will get an objection from a third party, and you will not be eligible to get a trademark register. So while registering a company name or selecting a brand name, all these aspects should be kept in mind. So again, when again, just from a legal perspective, when the legal fight happens to ascertain whether both the marks are legally similar or not. So when the government looks into all this criteria, sound, meaning, appearance, and all, that's how the order will be passed. As I stated, yes, trademark violation is a criminal offense. You get a benefit of fighting, under a criminal offense where you can approach a local police, file a case, and all that will be possible. So next, trademark benefits for a startup, very important. So startup get a government discount on a fee payable for the trademark registration. The government fee payable for any trademark per application is 10,000 rupees. But when you are a startup company, the government fee payable is 4,500. That means you save 5,500 rupees per application. Then fast track processing option is there. Now the trademark registry is streamlined, so you get a response very quick time. Generally within 30 to 40 days we get a reply. So that is a benefit. Then IPR support. So filing a trademark or a copyright application, even for a patent application, you get a support from a empaneled, intellectual property practitioner like me, the professional who is registered over there. You can interact with them. They will not charge you any fees at a free of cost or a nominal fees, whatever they charge, at which you can get your patent, copyright, trademark filed through them. So these all are the three benefit you get when you are a startup recognized by the government of India. Then the process to get the trademark registration, I will try to explain very simple and easiest way to understand this. So first and foremost is, say many startup or many professionals, you might have already registered your company or LLP, or you may be doing a business in partnership firm name or a proprietor name with some name. You may think that by registering a company or by registering an LLP, your name is fully protected. You have a company in place. That's what the belief you may have, but it is incorrect. Suppose even though you have registered a company, not registered for trademark, and suppose I apply for a similar trademark and I get a registration, I can come back and serve you the notice that you have registered a company without complying with the trademark guidelines, and I can ask you to change your company name. So that means, in short, just registering a company or an entity with GST or income tax or MCA, your brand name is fully protected. So that means while taking a name, you need to do a search in two places. One is in MCA when you are registering as a company or an LLP, that whether name is available or not. And also you have to do a search in trademark registry, whether someone else has already taken a trademark or whether that is available to you or not. And also in trademark, there are totally a 45 class of activity, meaning 45 business activities can be registered in that particular class. For example, somebody into software, for them the class applicable is class 42. Suppose somebody into food or any energy drink related business, it may come under 28, class number 29, 30, 31, and 44. So like that, based on the type of business, number of class will be applicable. Based on number of class, number of application to be filed. Based on number of application, your cost will be decided. So it's a per application, per class, 4,500 what you need to pay to the government. Suppose if you have 20 classes, then you have to pay 4,500 to 20. So that's how the cost will be ascertained. Especially the bigger companies like Infosys or all those people, they get a trademark done in all 45 classes to avoid any kind of legal dispute. I have seen practically in my cases, Shah Rukh Khan, known as SRK, right? He has taken a trademark in all 45 classes under SRK to make sure that nobody takes his name in any business form. So that's how the protection is applied. So that's the first parameter to ascertain whether you are eligible or not. Then you have to apply a trademark. You yourself can apply, or you can take help of a professional like me to apply a trademark. The moment you apply for a trademark, it goes to the registry, trademark registry. They will scrutinize your application. They will identify is there any similar application or a mark or a logo, symbol, and all. If they find any similarity, they will send you examination report. To that examination report, you need to reply within 30 days with your supporting document and your submission. If your explanation is felt good to them, they will approve your application. If they find that your application is not good or your explanation is not up to the mark, they may call you for a hearing. Hearing will be again virtual. So you have to present the document evidences before them, and after the hearing, if they satisfy, they can approve. If not, they can reject also. And if they approve, they will put in a journal called a trademark journal for for a general public to object. That means once they put in a journal, there will be 3 months time for a general public like me and you to file an objection to them. Practically, what I see is bigger companies, they will have a in-house intellectual property team. Lawyers should be sitting. They will be keep monitoring all this journal to make sure is there any name or a logo similar to their companies. If so, such company will of course will send you the legal notice or objection to that or opposition to that. If no objection, no opposition is received, you will be issued with a trademark which will be valid for a period of 10 years and which can be renewed after 10 years for another 10 years. After that, again you have to keep file a fresh application. Once you file a trademark, you can put a word TM with your logo or a name. Once it is registered, you can put R with your logo and name. Next comes is the certain practical cases which I wanted to explain how in the trademark industry it is used or adopted. So you might be heard Sony Corporation, a well-known name or a Sony per se. So there is a case between Sony Corporation versus K. Selva Murthy, wherein K. Selva Murthy was running a business called Sony Tours and Travels Private Limited, and Sony Corporation has filed a case against them, stating that he is using the brand name Sony. So the very interesting case to understand, Sony is into the different business, and tours and travel are in a different business. So court held that one is both are in different business, so you cannot ask the Selva Murthy to change his name because he is in a different business. And Sony Corporation had not taken a trademark registration in the class related to tours and travels. Secondly, they have filed application very late. The Selva Murthy was doing business for many years, but Sony came back very late. Because of delay in filing the application, also considered as one of the ground, and Sony has lost its application. So the crux of the story is that one is whether your and your other competitor or other trademark holder business is similar or not. What you need to understand, one parameter. Second one is whenever you come across anybody doing a similar business or copying your name, you should file a case immediately. If you delay it, you may lose your trademark also, or government may allow him to run the business also as well as to you. Second, the very interesting case, that is Starbucks Corporation versus Sardar Bucks Coffee. It's a very well case in Delhi and Punjab region. Starbucks, everybody knows. Somebody started similar coffee shop or a similar name coffee shop with a similar kind of a color combination around Delhi and Punjab region. He had running almost 8 to 13 outlets. By that time, Starbucks has served them a legal notice. Interestingly, court ordered a little bit in favor of Starbucks, stating that existing uh, outlet cannot be closed or name cannot be changed, but whatever outlet he is going to set up will not be allowed to use the similar name. So that's how the order is given. Uh, so these all are the cases where we see that uh, trademark being infringed in a different manner, where people gets affected. In my practical experience, the time to get a trademark when the name is not unique or whenever you receive any objection is itself like 1 to 2 3 4 5 years, based on the objection and the parties involved. And also I've seen a cases where people are getting a search siege notice from the opponent parties and getting a claim from the opponent parties. The cases like in Puma, where the certain Delhi based people were doing a Puma bags or a shoes with a just name as a Puma, and Puma filed a case where they made to stop his business as well as claimed the damages, for the wrong usage of the brand name. So all these implications are there. Uh, Getting a trademark takes little time, so filing initial level is well and good, and having a protection makes lot of sense. So now I would like to go to the copyright. Before I get into copyright, any questions, anything around trademark, I'm happy to take up and answer it. Or any practical scenario or cases you want me to explain, happy to take up that.
So there's a question in the chat box. So can you go through that? They want me to read that.
Maybe you can read that. How a person can trade.
So can you pardon? Thank you.
I think someone has asked a question about how a person can take a trademark in all classes and what documents are required. So, when you have a trademark in a particular class, say for the software business, and when you apply for other classes, one of the ground is that you have a trademark in other classes, and second one is uh, you can always say that I want to protect my brand name in all the classes, whether I do a business or not. You can say that I am going to use this name. On that ground, you can take a trademark in multiple classes.
There's a question saying that can you elaborate more about backdated trademark registration?
Sure. So, sir, for example, say somebody may be a third generation businessman, and their parents or a grandparents may be running a business, from a home or a proprietorship or a single owner basis, say since from 19s. And what happens is that third generation business may want to go for global trademark or within India trademark. and when they apply for a trademark, they may find that someone may be already doing a similar business, say from 2000 or a 2000 later, and you are a third generation businessman. You want to protect your trademark because which is important for your business. So for you, then it becomes very important to prove that your family was doing a business from 90s. Then you can always go back and ask other party who is doing a business from 2000, even though who got a trademark, you can ask him to stop doing that business in that particular name. So that's how you get a protection from the backdated, like 90s effective date, but you file application today by giving a document that you are doing the business from 90s. So that's how the backdated registration, what you can call it as. Hope it is clear to you.
Yeah, sir. You can continue.
Sure. I have only 20 minutes left to finish copyright. I know I will try to closely wrap up as soon as possible. So I assume there are no other question, or it can be how many days take to complete net deposit. Sir, as I mentioned, the trademark registration, if there are no objection from the registry or any general public, it will take 4 to 6 months to get approval. If there are any objection from the registry or from the general public, then it may take a lot of time. From a only if it is objection from registry, it may take 1 to 2 years. If there are objection from a general public or any other business unit, it's like a any other civil suit. It may take 4 year, 5 year, 6 year, depend upon how parties are fighting for their mark or a name. So I will move on to the copyright part to understand. So understanding copyright. So the copyright and trademark, the process, the infringement, legality, almost things goes hand in hand. Almost same. As I said, both are related to intellectual matter rights. The concept remains same. Just that the law and certain processes are different, but more slightly different in the law. Overall structure per se are same. So as I said, copyright is governed by the Copyright Act. Uh, Primarily, you can think what all are the things can be copyright. Basically, somebody writes a story, right? Book. So authors, artistic work, such things can be copyrighted, just to make sure that someone else will not write the story. Just as an example, say our Ramayana, Mahabharata are the story or historical things which we follow, right? So that cannot be trademarked, but that cannot be copyrighted. But someone who writes a story or a different version of that Ramayana, Mahabharata, right? Adoption work, what you call it as, such things can be copyrighted. So that is where copyright comes into picture. So any artistic work, authors, books, stories, movies, script, songs, uh, any see this architect designs, uh, dramatic work, reproduction work, all those things can be copyrighted. Even website content, and many software companies, they write a software code. Software code also to be can be copyrighted. The importance or a reason why copyright is that when you run a business, you know, I think Sneha Naik, you can ask a question.
सर मैं भी अपनी आर्ट आर्ट बनाती हूँ जो कि डिजिटल में भी सेल करती हूँ, फिजिकल में भी। लेकिन मुझे एक सर ने कहा था कि इसको हम एनएफटी के जरिए हम इसको ट्रैक कर सकते हैं, जो कि डिजाइन पेटेंट और डिजाइन कॉपीराइट के लिए हम अप्लाई भी नहीं करके भी ये हम कर सकते हैं एनएफटी। क्या आप इस सेशन में एनएफटी के बारे में भी कुछ बताएंगे कि हमें उसको रजिस्टर कैसे करना है, उसको हैंडल कैसे करना है? मैंने बहुत सर्च की इसके बारे में, रिसर्च भी बहुत की, लेकिन मुझे कुछ संतोषजनक कुछ मुझे मिला नहीं। तो मैं चाहती हूँ आप मुझे इस बारे में थोड़ा क्लियरिटी दें।
Madam, I have got this question from Anisha madam earlier, I'm not covering NFT. I'm not sure, who advised you on what ground about NFT related registration. I have not found any section around NFT. We can get connected offline. If you have some input or, information from them, I'm happy to read that and advise you well, madam.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. So that's why the copyright, especially when you run a business which is content oriented or a concept oriented, the copyright becomes very important. The reason being that any one employee takes away your code or a content, it creates a lot of business problem. Again, I have seen a practical problem. I will explain that, and very interesting. We also never expected that these things can be done in the society. So that's why copyright becomes handy. So these all are the things, right? Basically, artistic work, musical work. That's where the copyright comes handy. So this I covered. What are the things we can generally get a copyright? Sound recordings, source code. So source code, whenever we apply for a registration, generally I get a question whether I have to give entire document. It may run into like 1,000 pages, to be copyrighted. Sometimes they feel that it's a risk to copyright all those things. Generally, answer is no. If the content or a code is below 20 page, then you have to just give a 20-page document to them. If it is more than 20, then you have to give only first 10 pages and last 10 pages. With that, your source code or any content can be copyrighted. Then importance of the copyright is, again, copyright is your asset, because usually copyright is given to others on a royalty basis. That's how the owner of the copyrights makes some money. That's a typical model. So that's why unless you have a copyright, there is no way you can sign an agreement with any party for a royalty or get protection. As I said, it's an asset, so you have to protect it by applying for a copyright, and you can enter into an agreement. And also you have to make sure that in all your agreement with your employees or vendors, to make sure that they won't copy your trademark or a content in any way, infringe any of your intellectual property right. It's very important. And also in all your employment agreement, you have to mention that uh, whenever you uh, whenever employee creates anything for your organization, be it source code, content, or any design or a creativity, it should be the property of the company. So employee should not come back and say that I have developed, it is my creativity and I should only copyright. Because you have paid him as a salary or a fee, then the ownership comes to the company. So that should be clearly written in the agreement. That's how you can protect your copyright from the contract perspective. Then secondly, again, you have to file an application to the Register of Copyrights for the particular approval. Then does an copyright is an asset? Yes, copyright is an asset. And the cost associated with the copyright for a startup or any company goes from 500 to 40,000 rupees per application. Again, it depends upon the number of pages, type of content, all those things. Say, for example, movie script and all, the government fee is very higher side. And a normal copyright application, simple content, the government fees is 500. So the cost associated with this application ranges varies based on the case to case basis. Then steps involved in copyright registration. So here, unlike a trademark, it is very hard to identify whether anyone has applied for a similar content or a code or a script. Very hard, which we need to analyze offline. Any songs are available or all those things. So first step is to file an application with the supporting document. Then the register of copyright will review internally and send you the objection if he has anything towards the application. If no objection is received, you will be getting approval. If there are an objection, then you have to keep replying to the objection. And again, the time limit, it can happen within 12 months also, or it even can take 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, depend upon the type of objection what we get. But as long as you apply for a copyright, at least you get a protection that the process is started. So that's how you can rest assured that something is going to come for your support. So protection for a copyright infringement, again, you have a compensation option like a trademark. You can file a civil suit, criminal suit, carry out a raid, search, all those things for the activity done. You guys may be aware, when our Kantara movie, right, they had a objection for a particular song, which somebody has objected it. If you read the case law, even the producer and the director had a risk of getting arrested because the criminal case was filed against them. At the end, the both the parties were compromised, and that's how the case is withdrawn from the court. So you can see the copyright implication. Where even though you are what a big or whatever, the moment you copied something, either you have to compromise or you have to face the legal consequences. I want to highlight one more important case for the startup which I am facing practically. So in one of my case where we have seen client had developed something using a software, doing a decent business, some employee had copied those codes or a concept and did the same business, and apparently he had applied for a copyright before the client applies, and he got it luckily, and he serves the notice to the client stating that you cannot do a business. Unfortunately, high court gives a stay on my client business. Now client goes, fights, gives the document, everything. Now he won the case, now looking for a damages, all those things. But the simplest thing is that practically this is what happens when somebody copies this. You face a problem. The best way is you have a copyright so that you can screw them or have a terms, or make sure that you keep all those codes or a content in a very secret form, so that it is not given to very all the people, or it with the limited people. So this is a case which we are facing today. Then comes is the practical cases to understand certain copyright infringement. See, largely in my practice, the copyright mainly came towards the business which are into the entertainment industries, or a author or a book in that segment. And that's a very big area of practice, or a lot of cases happens there. So one among the cases, Disney, where somebody was selling bags in the name of Disney. So in this industry, how it works is, in the entertainment industry per se, say they create a art, right, or a character, it becomes very famous. So for them, the business way is that that character and all get sold like a some kind of idol or a gift item, or as a shirt, or it is used in various online platform. Nowadays people are busy with online content, YouTube, Insta, and everywhere. All such places, they use that character, people like, and they make a money. But the original creator or a producer gets only through the movie or a OTT platform. He lose a business element. So that's why these guys take a copyright, so that if tomorrow someone puts in Insta or a YouTube, or sells some product which they call in a commercial way, then they can go stop and claim a damages, or their product comes up in the market. But practically very challenging. What we say is, uh, by having a copyright, you can stop the theft, but robbery is not possible. Every corner of the people does copies. That's very hard to protect it. You cannot keep sending legal notice to everyone. But off late, what we see is, whenever it is used in online platform, right, they have a all such big houses will have a strong team. They will instantly monitoring all these things. Wherever people are doing good business through online platform, they get a notice immediately to file pay a compensation and the damages. One among them is that Disney cases, where somebody was selling a bags with the name of the Disney. Disney filed a case, they won the case, and they got a compensation also for whatever sales he made on that particular percentage was paid to Disney as a compensation. So that is how copyright will be used in a practical way. Likewise, Netflix and various other this OTT platform had filed a case against various websites who are using their content or the videos and all. So for all those things, order is given and the compensation is given. And interestingly, when I was reading about copyright, the interesting cases, ISKCON Temple has got a copyright case in favor to them in various cases. You might have seen ISKCON has a different Krishna, Lord Krishna, idol and their combination, and they have various scripts or a story written on around Krishna and its avtara, and various songs, various texture are being created. Many people were using in various online platform in various places, without their consent. So ISKCON had filed a case, now it's won in the month of April 24. Now anyone using ISKCON any content, they can always file a case and claim a damages. I'm not sure practically how they can go to each corner and identify, but they reserve a right to claim a damages. Likewise, couple of Bollywood stars, Jackie Shroff, Anil Kapoor, they have a trademark for their name. That typical name, I think Bidu, whatever name they have, well known for their identity. They have a copyright for that. For their voice, for their couple of content, for their couple of names, they have a copyright, so that if somebody copies them or sells any product with those name or anything around that, any content being sold, they can get a legal notice or a damages from the such a Bollywood actors who got a copyright registered. And overall, per se copyright, a simple process is to create a work, apply for a registration, wait for it, and once you have a copyright, you can carry out business on a full-fledged basis. And off late, what we see is wherever for a business trademark is important or a copyright is important, everyone will have their legal team or a in-house team who constantly monitor such a business, serves a notice, claims a damages. So it is important for anyone while naming the business or doing any content to make sure that there is no mark or a registration within India. If not, the consequences are huge. It's like a slow poison. You will not come to know today. You do a business for 3, 4, 5 years, make a good turnover. Suddenly you will get a notice, and people say, you pay a compensation or come for a negotiation and all. So it's very, very, crazy, I would say, and very complicated. A lot of risk associated with that too. Then the confusion comes, right? Sometimes whether which to be copyrighted, which to be trademark. I always say simple way, whenever you write something, create something as a content, that goes as a copyright. When it's a name, label, product, mark, color combination, all such things goes as a trademark. And also sometime domain, right? You buy a domain, that has to be trademark. But website content, you can get copyright. Source code, you get copyrighted. Sometimes the business labels, for example, you may have a particular label combination or a shape of the product. That creation around that shape of product, which is unique, that can be copyrighted. But the goods structure or a shape, color combination, that has to be trademark. So that means certain product need both trademark and copyright. Certain product and services don't need both trademark and copyright. So one among them should be enough. And also last one more point, whenever you apply for a trademark, always apply for a word mark. As I said, there are various combination, but word mark under a trademark gives a lot of protection. So this is the basic difference around trademark and copyright. And with that, I'll conclude my session and happy to take up any question around both trademark and copyright. I have a question.
We have questions in the chat box.
Yeah, my product is medical aid. Is it necessary to take both trademark and copyright? I think only trademark is enough, sir, for your name or a logo, whatever you have. You may not get a copyright because this medical aid or a concept might have been written by someone else. So there is no creativity per se. Sir, can we earn using our copyright without we paying it? Are you using copyright? In this sense, I assume if you have a copyright, you can assign it to someone else and they can pay you royalty on that. Say something like a movie, right? Somebody writes a script and somebody makes a movie, or somebody writes a story using that, somebody makes a movie, then they pay a royalty. Or like MS Dhoni as an example, right? They take a permission from him to make a movie. And using his name and all, people make a movie. So that's how you get paid. Hope I have answered both of their question correctly.
Are there any other questions from the audience? You can unmute yourself or drop in the chat box.
Vignesh sir, thank you very much. Gautam Pai here.
Hello, sir. Yes.
Sir, thank you very much for the wonderful session. In a very lucid manner, you have engaged the audience and given must know things about trademark and copyright. The whole initiative is to handle the startup, and we have been greatly supported by your entire team, Pawan, last time Deepika, and now you have done a wonderful job, and you are the backbone for this entire startup series. Your team wholeheartedly thank on behalf of the Mangalore branch for being a part of this wonderful initiative. The whole objective is to be that continuous guide for the startup ecosystem, wherein at a time, say, just having one day event may not suffice, because all of the things may not be, we may not have that time to deliberate upon. So what are the
Yeah, we lost him, I guess. He is traveling. It's fine, sir. So,
No
are there
problem.
any questions? Sir, do you have a
topics that they require? We have collectively chosen the requirement and rightly take it forward using this wonderful set of the insights. Sorry? Yeah,
Yes,
so
sir,
thank you very much, Vignesh.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir, for the opportunity. I think there is one question where various apps
Yes,
are used in different name registration. So name will be under, trademark, sir. And the app content can be copyrighted content or a concept. Okay.
Okay.
Then,
Okay.
thank you very
Yeah.
much.
So, are there any questions? So, if not, then we'll gonna end it or conclude the session. So, yeah, let's give Sir a round of applause for that insightful session on copyrights and trademarks. It was a wonderful session, really, sir. So, thank you once again from my behalf and behalf of Shine Foundation too. So, as Gautam sir said, it was a very engaging session and it was very knowledgeable. Like the presentation was also very quite good. So, Roman, is there any question? Okay. Okay. So, yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, sir. So, are there any concluding lines from your side?
Nothing from my end, madam.
Okay, so I would like to thank all the participants and guests who participated and attended this session. And this webinar wouldn't be possible without you all. So, as you are supporting from last 4 sessions, I would like to thank you all, and also like I would also want you to register for the further sessions. So, if you want us to keep any sessions, like you have any doubts on regarding specific topics, then you can drop that in the feedback form. I have dropped the feedback form in the chat box, just to fill that, and based on that, we will actually curate our topics for the future sessions, and we will organize those sessions in the future. And for further notices about all the webinars detail, you can join our WhatsApp group. That is also I have dropped in the chat box, and I have dropped my phone number if you have any doubts regarding it, or if you want to connect directly to all the CAs and the speakers who joined from the last 4 sessions. We can connect you with them for the further offline discussions if you have any further doubts regarding your startups or businesses. And yeah, so that we hope you enjoyed this session, and until next time, happy innovative and best of luck on your entrepreneurial journey. So this is Monisha signing off for today. Thank you all. Have a great evening. Thank you so much, sir, once again. Thank you, everyone.